NFL linebacker Will Witherspoon with Armen Levack on 104.5. The team played all over the NFL. Spoon, how you doing, baby?
I'm great, man. Just enjoying myself out here in Phoenix a little bit and taking it all in. And, of course, a great day on the road today just to see the great setup this year compared to last year.
You like this better?
This setup is actually – last year was just packed in so tight and crowded. You really couldn't get row to row, desk to desk. I mean, it was way too tight there. This year it's open, even though it's quadranted, but
yeah,
it's open. You guys can actually move around and not be just overflow into everybody's conversation.
See, but with the quadrants, I have no idea who the heck is here right now. Like, it's so big that we're trying to be like, okay, like we were trying to find you. I had no idea where Spoon is, man. It could be, I mean,
I know.
It's like 14 football
I get you.
fields.
It's A, B, C, or D, and then of course you got NFL Network taking up like the whole central portion of this. But
yeah, don't worry about that. It's a little cocky. I guess they're allowed to do that.
I guess when you're throwing the party.
Exactly. We can kind of do that when we own the show, but. I think it's great to be here the way it is, and of course last year, like I said, the problem was you were just so packed in so tight. I couldn't have made it here in the time I did either, because getting through the rows, you would have never made it.
Yeah.
What do you think of the fans having access to the area? Like, they can't get in here, but they're in the fan moat in between.
And I think fans love that. They, to see. They never know who they're going to run into, right? Like, that's always a good part about it. Like, I just walk in getting the credentials, and Barry Sanders walks up, and you're like, oh, what's up, Barry? Like, good to see you again. I haven't seen you since New Orleans. Like, whatever. But the fans, I think, are loving that interaction, because it's a time for them where they can see some of the greats of the game. The Hall of Famers. There's guys showing up, and then the guys who are playing today, presently and currently, what they're doing, and finding out about who they are outside the helmet. I think that's one of the big things for the fans to experience here and see the massive media that is around the game.
Is that one of your favorite parts too? Will Witherspoon with us, former NFL linebacker. Is that one of your favorite parts of this? Just getting to know these guys and the networking.
Yeah, definitely, because a lot of times there's guys you know guys in the league, but you don't always get to know them, right?
Yeah.
So this is also another opportunity for you to share that brotherhood. That's another moment for you to enjoy yourself and get to really know guys and spend time with them, chat it up, and find out what else they have going on, what else they're doing, why are they here, what's happening, who they know, who else they know, who they went to school with, whatever the questions you really want to answer. But it is just great timing. Like, it's just good times to sit back and enjoy it and not have to be beating each other up.
See, for me, like, my fan has been showing all week. Like, you're walking up, I'm like, oh, man, 03, I saw you smacking people around the field. Is there anybody that gets your fan showing? Like you said, Barry Sanders walks up. Is there a guy out there that you're like, I hope I run into so-and-so?
It's just amazing to think of certain things like that. Like, I laugh, and it's like Emmitt Smith was still playing when I first got in. I remember that first game, I'm sitting there going, I remember Emmitt Smith setting the record against my high school in the at the time, like, the Florida record for most rushing yards in a game. I was like, that's rough. But then I get to the league and I'm sitting going, that's Emmitt Smith. That's kind of interesting. I'm trying to hold myself back a little bit too, right? You try not to let it all come out. But it's great things like that, great guys like that, and him, Michael, Marshall, of course, playing with those guys, playing against those guys, and playing at times with them. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't really have anybody in particular. I'm a military brat, so I grew up most of the time trying to catch the only game that they showed at the time, the Super Bowl, in '88 and stuff like that. You're really just only catching a few guys. Like Joe Montana, be great. Hey, that's Joe. Like, I know him. Jerry Rice, that's awesome. Get to see that. Those are the guys that I really got to see. One of the greats you always want to see is Tom Rathman. That's we all remember 10-yard fight.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That was my game back in the day. As soon as that hit the arcade, it was a 10-yard fight. Tom Rathman. There you go.
Roger Craig comes running around him. Yep. Now, 03, you got to play this team, the Patriots. How different is this team from that team? And when you look at them, is there still similarities?
There are still similarities. I think they're built differently from the tight end perspective. They're built a little differently from the offense itself. But overall, they're very similar in a lot of ways. You've got to look at it. When I talk about tight ends, we had Daniel Graham. They had Daniel Graham there, and of course Tom was there. Kevin, Pat, Pass, and a couple other guys that were all part of that team. That's what made it up on the offensive side. You have Joey and John. There's just so many guys that you sit there and think about, like, okay, this is this team. But now, and then, of course, on the defensive side, I think their backer core is built pretty much the same way. Belichick's always like the big physical backer. You're seeing the same thing out of them. that really hasn't changed. On the back end, he's always had some great DBs back there, guys who can move in multiple positions and play in multiple positions for him if he had to shift the defense. That is still the case. Devin McCourty started corner, played at safety, did whatever. It was all the same. I played with his brother Jason, so I got to see how these guys were doing their thing.
Former NFL linebacker Will Witherspoon with Armen Levack on 104.5, the team live from Radio Row as we look to the Super Bowl. Biggest storyline between these two teams in your mind is what? What are you looking for the most?
I think right now, can the Patriots overcome this whole fiasco that's been sitting right in front of their plate, right?
You think it's a distraction for them, though?
It's got to be. I mean, anytime something's brought up every single day, it's a distraction. It's no matter how you cut it, it's a distraction. Your guys are going to get asked about it the same way. And then, of course, the Seahawks, their biggest distraction is people worried about whether Marshawn Lynch is going to speak to the media. I think right now the media is sitting there going, we have a $1,000 bet on whoever can actually get him to say something and mean it.
You think we have $1,000? I don't.
I said collectively, everybody could put in $1. I know how this goes.
It might get tight, but we could probably get $1.
Maybe two.
I'm gonna get cray, man.
Woo! Be careful. Be careful.
Yeah.
2 might put you under. Just saying.
Hope my wife's not listening. We got budgets.
Phone's ringing.
That's right.
Yeah, it's all about the Gerber baby food he's going to be eating after she smashes his mouth open.
Spoon, what are you doing nowadays, man?
I'm into a lot of things. One of the things I do is I work as well for the Rams, working for the Rams Broadcast Network, covering their games every weekend, also doing a couple different segments for them, enjoying that, kind of growing into this media world, this Radio Row. And, as a former player, I love it. You're still part of the game, still traveling with the team, that kind of thing. But I also own a grass-fed beef ranch in Missouri. Focus on sustainable agriculture, working with many, many farmers across the state and locally in the area, serving beef, at Butcher and Burger in Chicago. Also have Bullyards Meat and Provisions in St. Louis, several other things. And we also do direct delivery, so people can always go to ShireGateFarm.com, order directly off the site, get it drop shipped to their doorstep, and enjoy the product. I mean, we do a great job of aging our beef about 30 days before we even cut it.
It's so crazy to me. Like, I see you play one of the most violent positions in the game, linebacker, and then I hear you. It's agriculture. You're
great personality. Yeah.
Well, right. You don't. One of the things about it is my kids enjoy it, and like my oldest daughter, she's my egg hauler all the time. Like whenever we go out at the farm, she's up at 6 a.m. knocking on my door like, hey, Dad, I'm going to go to the chicken coop and go get eggs.
Nice.
So I'll see you when I get back. And I don't worry about it. It's like a half-mile walk just to the chicken coop.
Wow.
But she'll go there, run around, come back, and start whipping up a batch of eggs. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll just get up now. Like, I know you're ready. But, it's great to do that. And part of the reason that I want to talk about sustainability in agriculture is it's rough when you go and talk to kids and start talking about what they should eat, and healthy eating is part of it. The Play 60 program is a great program that the NFL tries to promote all these healthy lifestyle. But it's hard when those kids go ask them where chicken comes from. They say Publix, Kroger, Jewel Osco, like Schneiderberg's or any place else. I mean, all these places that they don't really understand the foundation of it. And you ask them, well, where does it come from before that? And they're like, the freezer.
Yeah.
That's a question that you got to get answered.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of it. And through Animal Welfare Approved, they've done a great job of guiding me in how to raise the animals, how to do this sustainably and very well. It's led me into many different things. I've spoken in front of Congress about subtherapeutic use of antibiotics. I've say that 3 times fast.
No.
I've spoken to Consumers Union about banning of the natural label, which if you ever read natural on anything, everybody's all into, I want natural chicken and I want read the little asterisks on the back.
Right. Make sure it's really
there's
natural.
There's no real foundation to what natural stands for.
Really?
Do chickens make good pets?
No, not great pets for the most part. Nor do goats most of the time. They're just a little bit off.
Ornery?
Key. Yeah. Just saying.
All right.
Elvis has left the building at the farm, okay? Just saying that much.
Former NFL linebacker Will Witherspoon with Armen Levack on 104.5 The Team. Will, thanks for your time today, man. We'll have to tune into some Rams radio. In fact, during the year, if you don't mind, we'd love to have you on talk St. Louis Rams.
Yeah, anytime.
Like the quarterback position. What does that look like in the future in St. Louis?
I know the team would like to have Sam back, and I know Sam wants to be back. I respect the fact that, after his injury, Sam was with the team the entire season. He
That's
wasn't one of those guys who went off and said, you know, I'm just going to get my body right and try and come back this next year. He was with the team. He rehabbed there. He did everything. He traveled with the team. He went to meetings every day. I mean, that's a great thing to see. And now I think that just gives guys confidence about him coming back next year. How they're going to do it, I don't know. You know, that's above my pay grade, but it is there. And I think the Rams are looking at trying to have give Sam that opportunity to play again and be there, and as well as try and get another quarterback or two that can really come and fall back into place. I think Austin did a great job, as a young kid. He, had great success, and then the team started figuring out, guess what? He's young. Let's start trying to put this extra on his plate. And they started challenging him there. Sean did a great job of stepping right back in as a veteran and leading the way down the hill. So even as bad as things got in the quarterback position, as we'll say, when people say Sam got hurt, I think the Rams ended up with a good core group of guys who carried them through as best they could. Would it be great with Sam or an elite style quarterback there? Yes, but that's all, and everything kind of begins there on the offense.
There he is, Will Witherspoon.
Team is so close, and it's great to hear you talk about them again. I hope we can talk to you through the season and get some Rams inside. And one thing we're doing is we're bringing it back old school. I'm trying to revive the 5. Can I get a high five from you?
There we go.
All right,
get
man.
it in.
Bud Light shirt.
Wait,
coming your
I'm
way,
in St. Louis, man. Can you talk about how much Bud Light there is there?
That's true.
Which, by the way, if you've ever been on the Bud Light tour, it is a well-known fact that if the brewery stopped producing beer at that moment today, we would be out of beer in like 2 weeks.
Really?
And I'm talking like several 100,000 gallon vats.
That's how much we rely on Bud Light in our lives.
Did you know that the vats were the engine room for the Star Trek movie, the new Star Trek movie?
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. You can see that.
They redid it. The vats were the engine room.
Well, get out of here, man. You got a lot of.
Thanks again, guys.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Pleasure meeting you, man. Thank you so much.